Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of Banter Blitz. The Donny Wahlberg to the Mark Wahlberg. That is our daily live commentary from super tournaments such as Bilbao, which will resume tomorrow. But today we got a bunch of shows. I guess it's me, then Niklas doing his premium coaching thingy, and then Mr. Ostrovsky doing another Banter Blitz. So thanks for being with me, whether you're watching this live or wherever else you might be watching it, on YouTube. One of these things, you know the rules. I get challenges. You challenge me to a 3 or a 5 minute chess game if you are a premium user of chess24.com, and crushed you shall be. That's about it. Let's get rolling. I have a very small window of opportunity here because our boy Niklas is gonna kick me out of the studio in like 80 minutes. So I have to get in as much crushing as I can while I have this time frame open. Already struggling with the words. As usual, I slightly prefer guys I've never played before, but I choose pretty randomly, so get your complaints in right here, right now. While I'm starting with Mr. Galactic. Not intergalactic, just galactic. From Switzerland. Let's play a neutral first move like 1d4. See what happens. He goes e6. Invites me to play the French. Not gonna happen. This is always a tough spot. Do you go knight c3? Do you go knight f3? Do you go g3? I slightly prefer knight c3, not because I think it's a better move, but it feels more consistent because you're threatening e4. Well, knight f3 is not really threatening anything. He pins me, goes for the Nimzo, and I shall play a trendy move, the move f3. d5 is one of the most respected replies next to c5 and castles. d5 used to be the absolute main line, but in recent times things have changed a bit. Looks like he's all booked up to the eyeballs. The main move here is d takes c5, but I want to take him out of the book. I don't like it when they're booked up to the eyeballs. How do you book up to the eyeballs anyway? So queen d3 is a rare move. I think Shirov tried it once or twice in the 90s, but it wasn't supposed to be very good. The best reply is b6, e4, bishop a6, and black is fine, but gotta make them think early. And Mr. Galactic, as you can see, stop blitzing, start thinking. That's always a beautiful outcome. e4 obviously is my idea, to occupy the center, then crawl out with my pieces, slowly but surely. And if I manage to do so, I'll enjoy the center and the two bishops. The problem is, against best black play, I don't think you're able to do it. b6, e4, bishop a6, and I might have to go c4, and the center is very, very vulnerable. We'll see what Galactic does. I'm, as usually, studying the chat with like half an eye, like this half. So that tends to lead to a lot of awkward pauses, which people seem to enjoy. Looks like there's inquiries about the weather. It's warmish. It's like a good Hamburg day. It's still cloudy and it might rain, but it's not really cold. So I'm happy with it. I went to Baden-Baden over the weekend to partake, I think that's a word, in this team sim of ours. Most of the big stars didn't show up because they're playing in Dortmund or Bilbao or doing stuff, but it was still a fun event. There were like 100 people. And we crushed most of them, which of course is really the purpose of such a thing. As for the game, he didn't play this b6 stuff I was talking about, but he went for cd followed by castles. And now I should have a fair chance to somehow finish my development. Still not obvious how to do it, because this bishop doesn't have a great square. So I'm gonna start bringing the knight out, and if I find time, I want to go something like bishop e3, knight c3, bishop e2, and all that stuff. But it's still gonna take a while to get all my forces fully mobilized. Same applies to myself. I haven't had much coffee today yet. He goes b6. Looks like now he wants to go for bishop a6. I have a feeling I should keep him busy. Why not pin the guy? Bishop g5. See how he reacts. Sanat Singal number 3 is not able to challenge. Very sorry to hear that. And Galactic, who was able to challenge, played bishop to a6. I shall get out the way, probably play queen d2. Always gotta keep an eye on like potential knight e4 tricks, but here my bishop is protected, so I can just meet knight e4 with fe4. And he has to deal with the awkward question, am I threatening e5? Am I not threatening e5? I think I am threatening e5. And what do you want to do about it? Do you want to move your queen out of the way and risk that I ruin your pawn structure with bishop f6? Do you want to do something else? Maybe h6 is a good move, intending to meet bishop h4 with knight takes e4? Who knows? Could very well be. Actually, that's a bit of a problem. So I'll keep a poker face, one of my many strengths, and hope he does not do that. Because h6 I might have to retreat with my, how do you say that? My tail between my legs? That sounds a little dirty. He plays queen d7. And I have to decide if I was bluffing or if I really want to take on f6. I'm not sure I really want to, because I do respect bishops and wood. So I might have to admit it was just a joke. I could go bishop f6 though. Then knight g3, and yeah, I guess it's consistent. I won't be able to castle, but I'll try to compensate for that fact by checkmating him with knight h5 and queen h6. Should keep this d4 pawn just for good luck and also to avoid knight h5, queen takes d4. And now it's back to the checkmating plan. Here, and that's the plan. I'm taking a small calculating break, but who needs such breaks? I think it's a pretty effective plan that I've cooked up here. Oh, thanks for the praise about the sweater. It is a nice sweater, isn't it? It has brontosauruses on it. And that's one of the better dinosaurs, really. Yeah, I don't know. I just went nuts here. I was actually intending queen h6, queen d1, king f2. But now it occurred to me that queen d2 check might slightly spoil my plans. So that's bad news. I was too obsessed with my sweater. So now I have absolutely nothing. I'm slightly worse probably. I have to try to survive this. Not happy. What have I done to deserve this? Probably I played badly. Was celebrating my own brilliance too early. The usual stuff, really. No, I'm just kind of a pawn down with a not very pleasant endgame. Galactic! Playing galactic chess over here. Good news is I'm probably gonna manage to flag him, and I'm not sure I'm totally lost, but it's still not my proudest game so far. Knight d4 threatening knight e2. He's doing it. He's a tough guy. Ay. You guys know what losing does to me. I get very cranky and even more condescending and self-conscious. So let's hope for the sake of the show and my fragile ego that it does not happen yet. But so far, yeah, after missing this queen d4, I'm being comprehensively outplayed by El Galactico over here. Then again, oh, I should probably adjust the clock so they look slightly less ridiculous. Then again, making good moves takes its time. Problem I've never really had to deal with. I just make random moves, which you can make much faster. And Galactic might suffer from all this thinking he's been doing. I didn't want to take it because I'm king g7, knight h5, king h6, and my rook is under attack, my knight is under attack. There's just too many things under attack. But now... Okay, let's take this for starters. And I'll try to get my pawn back. Not the f6 pawn I set my eyes on early on, but the a7 pawn. f4, okay, gimme. That's a check. And there comes the flag. I'll play for cheapos along the way. Because you don't just want to flag, you also want to get your cheapos in with your opponent's flag about to fall. And he does lose on time. Good game by Galactic, not very good game by Jan. Because frankly, I just went insane here after rook 88 with knight h5. I think I'm winning here probably. I should start with queen h6 and the game is pretty much over. But I screwed up the move order. Yeah, this just wins. Knight d4, knight h5, queen b5 check, king g1, knight e2. The more random moves I make, the trickier it gets. But yeah, that should have somehow been winning. Anyway, got away with a scare against Mr. Galactic. And I'll play someone else. Why don't we play chess to win? Because he now disappeared from my screen. No, there he is again. I never play chess to win. I play chess to draw or chess to flag, which often leads to a win. Chess to win goes e4. What can I do against that? c5 maybe. The Sicilian. Random questions in the chat. Sanat Singal still struggling getting that challenge in. I think my name should be right below your video and you can hover over it and then click on Challenge Jan. Here we have a Sicilian against chess to win. I haven't really made up my mind yet which Sicilian I want to play. What have I never done on the show? I don't think I've ever played g6 here. The so-called accelerated dragon. The problem is I don't really like the structures after c4 all that much. Knight c3 is also a very legal move, trying to get to a proper dragon, but here there can be some differences sometimes because I have not played d7, d6 yet. Therefore, white has to be quite careful with his move order. Let's see if chess to win knows all the details here. You have to start with bishop b3, as far as I know, and as far as he knows. Can't fool chess to win. Now if you go d6, f3, we play a normal dragon, but I'll play a line of my childhood. Is this a line of my childhood? I don't know, maybe it is. I used to play some queen a5s, but I think I did a move earlier instead of castles. To be perfectly frank, the point is to force white to castle kingside, so it's harder for him to checkmate you on that very kingside, since his king is here. Now h3 is all theory, bishop d7 and f4 or whatnot. Knight d5 immediately? Not familiar with this move, sir. Knight e4, knight c6, bc, knight e7. Too much hassle. I'll take. Not sure how he plans to recapture. ed is good on positional considerations, but it kind of cripples Mr. b3. Well, bishop d5, bishop d7, I should be fine. I have a feeling I should leave some pieces on the board here. Go knight e5. Hinting at knight g4. And see what he does. Probably he does h3. When I was intending to blunder this knight by playing bishop d7, but I might change my mind now that I spotted that would lose the knight after bishop d7, f4. He does go h3. And I'm not sure if he knows how much I hate it if someone plays well. But so far, he does play well. Very, very sad indeed. And I don't know what to do. Since bishop d7, f4 does not fill my heart with joy, I'll reshuffle this knight somewhere else. c5, f6, wherever it may take us. I might be slightly worse here. c4 or c3 even, or rook e1. Don't really enjoy my position because this pawn on e7 is always small weakness. Bishop d2 is a weird move. I enjoy seeing weird moves. Where to go? I guess here. Attack this dude. Probably wants bishop c3, but I'm not sure how that improved his situation really. And I'm not talking about the situation Mike Sorrentino, but about the situation on the chessboard. I don't know. I might be 5 years too late with my Jersey Shore references, but what can you do? Also not sure about bishop f5. Maybe d7 was a little more prudent. Queen d4. All right. Tempted to go knight d7, but I really don't want to get checkmate in one move, so I'll resist that urge. What to do? Put a rook here maybe? Probably should have taken the other rook. I think it would have been a touch of class to go rook fc8, so I can do stuff with my queenside pawns and also cover the e7 pawn with king f8. But no class. Knight g3. Let's see. Can't I grab pawns? I am very, very good at grabbing pawns just to win. And if you want to win, you should not give me too many of those. That was an oversight on his part, our friend from the US&A. What time is it in the US&A? Isn't it early morning? If you're West Coast-ish, you should still be sleeping. East Coast, I accept. That's like a 6-hour difference, I believe. So that's probably like 10 a.m. But West Coast, if you're playing Banter Blitz at 8 a.m., then you're probably a hard worker who gets up early and checks the internet before going to work. A lot of questions in the chat. How do you pronounce Zugzwang? You pronounce it Zugzwang. What else can I tell you? Not much, really. I'm an old man, so I don't really ever gain any new insights. Like yesterday night, instead of watching a new movie, something fresh that could get me thinking, I watched There's Something About Mary for the 18th time, and I enjoyed it greatly. It's a great movie, There's Something About Mary, and there is something about that movie, really. My favorite character, obviously, is the private investigator, Pat Healy, or as he's known in Nepal, Nobleman, who is loved by animals. And, what is it? And in turn, loves them too? I believe that's his Nepalese name. So if you haven't seen There's Something About Mary, stop watching this stuff. Get your, wherever you can watch it, get the DVD, get your Netflix, wherever you can track down There's Something About Mary. It's a classic. There's really no point in watching a random dude play chess on the internet if instead you could see the comedic exploits of a young Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz. I'm a pawn up, so that's the good news. Okay, back on topic. So, in Something About Mary, I've noticed that a lot of my favorite characters in recent times are called Healy. There is the guy from Orange is the New Black, the kind of sad old counselor, prison counselor. His name is Healy. Russell Crowe's character from The Nice Guys, which is a movie I like. Like, people don't seem to like it as much as I liked it. But what can you do? I still greatly enjoyed it. Anyway, Russell Crowe's character there is called Healy, and the dude from There's Something About Mary is also called Healy. Not Brett Favre, but the private investigator. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm bad at remembering movie quotes, believe it or not, because normally I have this eidetic memory. I don't. I'm just making up words. But I find it very hard to recall the punchlines. Like, oh, you've been to Nepal? Not in a month. Don't know why I bought the place. So many gems in there. As for the position, I'm trying to convert my extra pawn and win on time. Or one of the two, really. Let's go here. Exchange some rooks. He should play rook c3, but I have a feeling he's not going to be able to do it. And if he takes, this rook has to go into Passiveville. Now I have my sights set on this d5 pawn. But I'll start with rook c2, just random activization. I know that's not a word, but you'll hear plenty soon anyway. Off the rook, when it's getting harder and harder to stick around for chess to win. He's trying to liberate himself of all his material possessions, and I will gladly accept them. Pre-move. That is a check. That is not a check. Let's stop this pawn in its tracks. It's time to say goodbye. You're not going to win. Even though technically it's still chess. Hard to decide on a move. Why not give a check? Probably because I have to go back after king e2. But is that enough reason not to give a little check? I'm not sure it is. Let's give more checks and take some more rooks. And I won on time, which really is the goal of any chess game. No, I'm not a big Tropic Thunder guy. Yeah, I think it doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like, clearly wants to be a comedy and a war movie, persiflage, but then it also wants to have realistic action scenes. I enjoyed the Tom Cruise part of it for whatever reason, but I'm not a big Tropic Thunder guy now. Whom should I play and why? Says I have a 0-1 score against Long John Lucky. What's going on there? Let's see what Long John Lucky, interesting username, has done to defeat me in the past. Chessmaster 14 wonders, where is Bilbao? First of all, go premium Chessmaster 14, because for geographic advice, you really have to be a premium member. And then there is this beautiful site called Let Me Google It For You. You can type in Bilbao, and it will probably spit out a map, videos of Bilbao, articles, a Wikipedia article about Bilbao. So I'm sure you can figure that out. Here in the game, we're playing a Queen's Gambit Declined. Yesterday, Nakamura did something very interesting in the Queen's Gambit Declined against Kayakin to maybe revive this line with c5, 7 knight bd7, which has been the main line. But in this game, we get knight bd7. Most top players nowadays play c5, you're grabbing more space. But I'm not much of a space man. I never really wanted to go into space, man. So I'll go a3, which is an older line. Recently, Wesley So has tried a bit. I had a lot of games here, like 10 years ago, with mixed success. c5 is what you're supposed to do. cd, knight d5, knight d5, ed, dc, knight c5. And that position is supposed to be equalish, but still some play. cd4 I'm not familiar with. It gives me plenty choices. d6 might win an exchange, but do I want that exchange? Or do I not? Knight d4 I just have a positional edge. But I think I might be tempted by grabbing that exchange. I'm so greedy. As for why wins an exchange, or I believe it does, is that after dc3, d7, queen e7, bishop d6, queen somewhere, bishop f8, I would be an exchange up. He might have some compensation after cb, but I was hoping that it's not enough. Here we go. Yeah, I'm still comfortable with the decision I took. He definitely should throw in cb2, else it's just more or less resigns queen f8, bc3, so you gotta grab that pawn first. Then go queen takes f8. When I still have to proceed with care, he would get a pawn and some development for the exchange. But who can resist an exchange? Not me. Queen b3, just to cover this a3 pawn. Didn't want to allow rook b2, queen a3, when he would have serious compensation for the thing. Well, now I was hoping it's not quite enough. Chessmaster 14 points out he was premium, but you gotta live in the moment, Chessmaster 14. You don't have that little crown right now, and not everybody can try to get by on past achievements like myself. Clinging on to that Grandmaster title for dear life, milking it, even though I haven't played a tournament game in months. Is that true? It's probably true. I played Thailand Open. Yeah, here Long John Lucky has made very sensible moves. Why is he 1500? He's up 1-0 against me and he's playing sensibly. I don't know what's going on here. But I have my extra exchange and I will try to finish my development, which I believe is the correct pronunciation. And then somehow try to convert it. He has close to full compensation actually. His knights are good, his bishop is good, and there's no easy hook for me to enter his position. Rook d8 I'm not sure about, I believe. The exchange of rooks, other things being equal, as they say, should be in my favor, because then I would have one rook left and he wouldn't have any rooks left, which is normally a better material balance than 2 versus 1, if that makes any sense. H6, and yeah, I will live up to my promise, get rid of them rooks, and occupy the open file. I guess I should put this horsey on a more central location as well, because in chess it's like in real estate, it's location, location, location really. What can he do? He could also centralize one of the horses. Then I guess bishop f3. Yeah, he does that. I'll go here just so I don't get checkmated on g2, because that would be a rude awakening. He can try to pin me with queen f6, but I should have unpinning measures, and f6 I'm probably happy to see. Don't know where to put my knight, but it does weaken light squares around His Majesty. Her Majesty or His Majesty? I don't know. Can't find a good square, so I will, with a heavy heart, offer the exchange of my horsey for his horsey. He doesn't want to trade horses. He wants to go to c3 instead. Does that bother me? I'm easily bothered, so probably it bothers me. Queen b3, knight dc3, is that a problem? Hope not. Which is how you should play chess. Instead of calculating, just hope it's not such a big deal and move on. But after knight dc3, I can also go bishop b7 and knight d1, queen b7, queen a4, and magically I would emerge with an extra knight, which some of these highbrow people like to call the horses. He goes knight ac3, and I think I should attack that one. Thinking mode activated. Queen c7 I can take. I think I'm doing fine here. Yup, I'm winning. Yay me. King h8 before it's too late. But maybe it is too late. Gimme. He's gonna have a check. It's always unpleasant to allow your opponent a check. Maybe I can stop him. There he comes. He wants to give that check. And I don't like allowing any checks. So we have a conflict of interests here. But as for the position, it's quite winning because of the horse situation. I got a check. He wants to give another check. Didn't we have that talk about not checking me already? Let's decentralize the queen. That's always a good policy in such situations. Put your queen. I'm joking about this. You kids out there eager to learn, what I just said was facetious. But I really like grabbing pawns. And I did that, and Long John Lucky is probably still as John, but not as lucky, and runs out of time. Let's play Alcoholics Anonymous 8128. No, I'm not sure if that's his name. AA could mean many things. Could mean Army Ants, American Airlines. I think that's the 3 established meanings. And Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not sure which one is his. And also the 8128. It's hard to interpret. It's probably not his date of birth, unless it's reversed. Maybe he's a 35-year-old man who was born on the 28th in the year 1981. But I don't think so. He plays the Juku piano, an opening that has become the height of fashion recently. I'll go knight f6. Most top dudes play bishop c5 because they want to avoid knight g5, and they have good reasons to do so. Because knight g5 kind of wins a pawn, and you have to go for dodgy compensation in these lines. But in order to play for a win, this is a little more exciting than the bishop c5 and then make all kinds of boring moves lines. I think knight d5 is what you're supposed to do after bishop d3. I'm not great at remembering the details here. Gotta be honest with you. Do they go knight e4? I guess they do. Knight f4 looks logical. And that's all I need. A logical looking move. It shall be made. Not sure what was theory. Or if knight e4 was theory. I cannot remember. A8128 is also thinking probably he should castle the knight d3 cd, queen d3, get his pieces out, and the awkward nature of my knight on a5 might be a problem for me. He goes queen f3, doesn't want to give me any pawns, and who can blame him? I'll try to play as actively as I can muster the strength to do and see where that leads us. Weird position. Knight g3. That is a legal move. Somehow I don't want to take on d3. It might be the strongest, but I don't want to. Probably I should though. It's always a problem when what you should do does not correspond with what you want to do. Don't we all know that predicament? And Cesar La Santarica points out a thing that's pretty much unheard of. It's warmer in Madrid, Spain than in Hamburg, Germany today. I went g6, he has mentioned probably I should have grabbed that bishop, but I didn't feel like doing so, and I might regret that decision soon. Anyway, what's done is done. I'll get some pieces out. Bishop d6, he should play d3. And we shall see. I'm a pawn down. I have some activity going. But if it is enough, who really knows? Does anybody really know anybody else? What I want to do is go bishop b7 and then c5, I guess, and cause havoc on the long diagonal. What time is it? I still got some time. As mentioned, I gotta quit a bit early today to vacate the studio for our boy Niklas Huschenbeet, who's doing his premium coaching series at 5. And he's gonna have to set up knight c3. I'll stick with my plan. Go here, and hope that good things will happen to me. Because it helps to be an optimist in chess. For you long-term viewers, you know that I can be accused of many things, but not of not being optimistic, seizing life with both hands, living every day as if it was, I don't know, another day. And bishop f1, this really is a greedy dude. Does not care one bit about development, wants to hang on to his pawns. Last time I saw someone as greedy, I was playing in my head against myself. I can't take the pawn though, with either knight or bishop. Both look pretty good. And I could also try to activate. Nah, you know me, I'll take. Maybe knight c6, knight d4 was even more promising. But can't help myself. Where there is pawns for the taking, I will be there. Problem is now all of a sudden this rook actually has a bit of a decent job on the g file. He could annoy me a bit with queen h6, hinting at knight f5, knight h5 and whatnot. So yeah, maybe using the power of hindsight, I should have gone knight c6 instead of knight takes g2 check. But I did not do any such thing. I feel this knight really wants to rejoin the festivities, and therefore I'll transfer it to d4, which looks like a better square than a5, if you ask me. Jan Gustafsson is saying in Holland it's too hot for pajamas. Sorry. Yup. Probably gonna lose this because the internet's gone. That's a pity. Oh no, we're back. That was scary. Wasn't that scary, ladies and gentlemen? I was down to 13 seconds before a default loss. Yeah, no, the board is refreshing. I don't know what's going on here. I should make some panicky active move, like Queen H4, which not only is panicky active, I'm also trying to trap his queen by playing F4. But can't fool AA128, 8128. Still, his position is bad now. The question is, will I be able to use that fact for my own mischievous, is that a word? I should stop using fancy words. Ideas. Can't really see anything good. I'll take, but I'm a little upset at myself for not finding anything better than queen takes g3. That's just a sad move to make, really. But you know what? It's an endgame. I'm better. I have the two bishops. Things could be much worse. I guess they could. I'm also in this slightly indifferent phase where I don't know what to do, and that leads to moves like terrible positional moves like f4, giving up the e4 square for good, which means forever, as most of us learned in the 90s from the Take That song, Back for Good. And we would, in these pre-internet days, ask everybody, what does back for good mean? Does it mean they were bad and now they're good again? No, it means back forever. See. A lot of useful knowledge to be gained on the show, and lots of pawns to be grabbed, like the h2 pawn. Back to base. Time to speed up a little bit. Looks like AA is not really planning to roll over and attend his next meeting, but instead to play quickly and try to flag me. Which is trying to beat me at my own game, AA. Are you sure you know what you're getting into here? He probably knows what he's getting into. Oops, that was a mouse slip. Not a good thing to happen in such a delicate situation. What have I done to deserve this? Good game by AA. We can already praise him. Even though I will flag him, of course, because now I took his rook, but he played excellently, and I should not have done that mouse slipping thingy with rook b8, which led to a very bad position. I want to go knight d4, but somehow rook b8 emerged. Anyway, good game by him. It's an interesting line. I think I did very well out of the opening, but I would have to look up what the theory is. Maybe h4 or some sick move here. I'm not 100% sure. Thanks for the game. Mouse slip indeed. Let us continue. Maybe he meant his rook blunder, not my dramatic rook b8 move. I'm not sure. And whom can I play? The eternal question. Oh, we have a FIDE master. Dr. Holmes, number 13. Was Sherlock Holmes a doctor? Wasn't Watson the doctor? I'm not sure. You might be carrying false titles here, Dr. Holmes. Which in some parts of the world is frowned upon. I'm not really a grandmaster. I just kept telling people and no one really asked. But he plays one of these trendy, boring lines with knight f3, g3. I did one of the things I do against it. The c6 move order, I'm not sure if it's great, but it's kind of sneaky because it's directed against... It's directed against something. Against white going c4 early, and yeah, this is like one of these weird plans. Way over my head. Bishop f4 and queen c1, he wants bishop h6. It's all too complicated for me. So I'll get some pieces out and let him do whatever he likes. These subtleties, these young kids and their subtleties, who can keep track? I'm tempted to go b5. Might be a terrible move, but if you're tempted to do something, you might as well do it. My point is here, it stops c4 and it stops him from going bishop h6, because I could have taken and then played c4, but he plays c3, which is very sensible, and I might regret irresponsibly weakening my pawn structure like this later. Rook e8, yeah, it's a very solid, boring system. Time to get serious. And I don't mean serious about the game, I mean serious XM radio. That didn't make any sense. Knight c2, do I want to take that? I'm looking for a plan, can't really come up with a plan. So, random moves it is. I gotta take care not to blunder queen f4, bishop c7. But I tend to be decent not blundering such things. a4, yeah, that makes me slightly regret going rook a d8, indeed. But I can always correct that indiscretion by returning. So far I have a feeling we're getting slightly outplayed by Dr. Holmes. I feel like, yeah, I'm a little worse because I optimistically went for b5 and he's maneuvered very nicely. Looks like he's a maneuver fox. I believe that is the correct term. And I have to find ways to mix it a little bit, which is not easy. How to mix it? I don't know, man. I'll give him some decisions. Do you want to take on f6 or do you not want to take on f6, for example? If he doesn't want to take, I might go knight d7 and then I might have more mixing it chances after, let's say, bishop f4, e5 or whatever. Knight d3 is sensible. I'll stick to my plan as well. Now after bishop f4, which I'm expecting to happen, I should probably take on d3. Not sure how thrilled I am about it really, but I guess I should do it. It's gonna be very hard to win this, which is a bit sad. e5 is the move that is screaming out to be played, but he can take a couple times, and I'm really not better there. Still, don't see what else to do. So this I shall do. e3, yeah. Rook a8, just so I don't get bothered with rook a8, and also I want to meet queen d4 with bishop c5 to keep at least some winning illusions alive. Position is of course equal, which I guess is good news considering it was worse for me before, but it's also extremely tough to generate any play. I have a feeling he's gonna play something boring like b4, and by boring I don't mean boring bad, but probably boring good. Queen d4 as mentioned. I do not want to exchange queens. I want to go to great extremes to make this position a little messier. Queen d7, so aggressive. Go away. I think my attempts to mess things up a little might have... Queen b2, rook a6, there's still nothing tangible, which is a pity. Calculating face. Rook a6, I don't know. Do I have some tricks? Queen c3, rook c6, queen e1, bishop f1, bishop e3. Don't really see anything special there, unfortunately. Maybe queen b2 was not as bright as I thought it would be. There's nothing here? Should be something. Nope, can't see it. Bishop b6 is ridiculous. Nah. But queen b7, queen a4, it's just... unhappy with how this went. Slow and bad. That's normally not a great combination. Now I have to go passive, and yeah, clearly The tiny advantage I might have had like a move ago has disappeared with my ridiculous play. Bishop h3, good move. Is there any threats? No, not really. Hard to think of anything constructive, really. He has a plan, actually. Well, I don't. I'm just messing around, but he's preparing c4 or e4. And, he doesn't go c4. Okay. I'm going to have to speed up, so apologies for the immense focusing and speeding up that is about to ensue. And now I blundered c4. Great focusing, Jan. This is just sad. Yeah, 0 winning chances here, really. Rook c6 works as well. Of course I'll try to do so. I'll try to blunder my pawn. Oh boy. Oh, and I also blundered bishop c4. Now I'm full-blown steaming. And I'm gonna have to hold this rook endgame. This is the saddest day of my life already. Yeah. Show off, Mr. Tech Boy. Going g4. Impressive. Okay, this is kind of a draw. But, of course, white is entitled to try. I have a plan, which is to move my rook back and forth. Did I just blunder g6? I'm really going nuts here. This might really be the worst game ever played by a human being. And now I'm getting very upset at myself too. How can I blunder g6? That's just pathetic. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this game, and deservedly so. It's mate in 2 actually, rook a8 and f6. Or mate in 3 if we wanna count correctly. And he does find that. Good job by Dr. Holmes 13, who did outplay me. Like, all things considered, he did play the better game, and that was just a pathetic effort on my part. So kudos to him, nicely played, and self-loathing to me, not very nicely played. Oh boy. That was just bad. And the guy who's gonna feel all my wrath is Ben Davies 39142. I shall play the good move d4 and then the Trompovsky, still steaming big time. And where did that go wrong? Nowhere in particular. It was a kind of boring equal game. Then yeah, I tried to make something happen which probably wasn't there. Then I lost a drawn rook ending like a total idiot. That was kind of sad. So Ben Davies is playing knight f6, e6. I decided against e4 here because I don't really like giving up my 2 bishops. Of course, it's not the most challenging of systems, but I've played it quite a bit through my younger years. I don't know what they call it, the Torre attack or the random queen's pawn opening. It's one of these names. There's nothing particularly special here, but it's a playable setup. And he's making very sensible moves. Which annoys me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'll go here, which probably is not very challenging, just takes a knight d7. I'll go bishop g3 and hope for some sort of kingside attack, but I'm not sure if it's really there. Knight e4, hang on. Hang on, sir. This looks risky because you have not yet completed your castling operations. If I go knight takes e4, will he play knight takes e5? If he would, I'd be annoyed, because I could start with bishop b5, but that allows this knight to retreat. Now I'll gamble and take and hope he goes te, which is how everyone should play chess. Just gamble. Don't make the best moves, just hope your opponent misses stuff. Because now this is a little awkward. Very hard to keep things under control. For Ben Davies, 39142 from New Zealand. Just like Flight of the Conchords. I'm sure people from New Zealand must be annoyed by the constant, like 3 references that we all have. Like, oh, that's where they shot Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's where Flight of the Conchords are from. Oh, that's where... Who else is from New Zealand? Stephen Adams? No, he's Australian. That's all I got, but I heard it's beautiful. I want to go one day. Rook b8. So many options, so little time. Let's keep it simple. He's trying very hard to break this pin, but he's paying a bit of a price for it. The price might be too high in this case for Ben Davies, 39142. That game is over. Sorry, Ben Davies. Yeah, where did it go wrong? I think after 95 you should just take and go 97. And normal position, what do I know? Bishop g3. I would try to make something happen here, but it doesn't look all that scary. Let me check back in with the chatters. Thanks, Galactic, for telling me to hang in there. I shall try my very best, but you know how much I hate losing. Makes me steam big time. And I will play against Mr. Brada, who has a couple R's in his name. Like 2 R's? That sounds like a lot of A's. And he has a Michael Tal profile pick. I'll go e4, which I still haven't really added to my repertoire. But one day, when I'm like 56, there will be lots of 1e4s. He plays the Sicilian, a very aggressive defense, but fortunately I'm a student of Magnus Carlsen games, so I know all his goofy little random systems by now, like c3, like knight e2, and knight c6 doesn't look so critical. Knight f6 is what you're supposed to do, because after knight c6 I can fulfill the idea of playing c3, which is to occupy the center with my pawns. And now I have a nice position. Knight f6, just knight c3. And I won the opening battle against Brada from Croatia, right? Yeah. I've been to Croatia. That's a nice place. a6. You know what? Let me grab some space. I don't think you're really supposed to do that. I should probably just develop my pieces, normally bishop e2, whatnot. But it's tempting to chase your opponent's knights around as early as possible, is it not? I'm not sure if it is. What time is it? Still got almost half an hour. He goes 95, which is fair enough. Takes, and now I should try to find a way to make it hard for Brada to finish developing. And since I'm still on slight tilt, I will go for f4, trying to bust the position open before he gets his pieces out. ef, e5, and who knows, might work. Bishop g4. Is that a good idea? Might be, might not be. I'll go here, target b7. If ef, there's still e5. If knight d7, then this bishop could feel a little lonely on g4, and I could maybe chase it with h3, followed by g4 and f5. And it would be tarped. Therefore, not easy to give good advice here. Not that I'm interested at all in giving good advice, but Even if I was, it would not be easy. And if it's something I'm not interested in, and that's not easy, that's really not a good thing to pursue. e5, that was a plan, to chase him around a little bit before he's fully developed. I'm not gonna embark in any queen b7 adventures. Looks like knight d7 has to be done. When e6 might be interesting, but I think I'll just take on f4 and level the pawn score. He should still go e6, I would guess. And I'll probably play d6, and then the question is, can he get to my e5 pawn quickly? Because if he can't, he's gonna be seriously struggling to finish his development. Knight c5. All right. Also a good move. I guess. Yeah, this is a weird square. What's a less weird square? Maybe this one. Looks weird too, because I'm on this diagonal. But if he goes e6, I can go d6. Close the diagonal. Close the door for the bishop on f8. And I should be okay. So maybe rook c8 instead. But he's still having the same issues. My pawns do control the center. And getting the pieces out might not be so easy. That much we have anticipated. And g5, very aggressive. Can't just ignore it, go bishop g3. Or I can try to exploit it. But bishop g3 might be the best way, because now this bishop all of a sudden is under attack. And the horse is under attack as well. It's very hard to keep all these pieces coordinated, because I'll either take this or this. And you don't want neither of these things to happen, really. He decided to part ways with the bishop, but I have a feeling he did not see this move coming. Sometimes you're so focused on the queen moving forward that a little sidestep is all it takes to catch you off guard. And I believe that's what happened with Brada. Brada in Croatian means the beard, though a bit overspelled. One R too many. Maybe it's full beard. Therefore, you need another R in there. I don't know how these things work. I've never been to the island of Kirk, where, first of all, I heard it's beautiful, and secondly, I think it's an excellent name for an island. Just spell it K-R-K. Who needs vowels anyway? As for the game, I'm completely winning. Does not satisfy me, because I lost this game earlier, and losing one game is really all it takes. That's why I'm such a horrible Blitz tournament player. I need to crush everybody all the time. One loss and I just want to go home and watch TV. Not quite true, but there's some truth to it, that I'm not very good at recovering from losses, which is something Magnus Carlsen is pretty good at, I believe. Not really comparing myself to Magnus Carlsen, I'm just impressed with his sportsman-like abilities. After losing to his favorite opponent, Hikaru Nakamura, in the first round, I think he's just steaming for a little bit, and then he comes back with a vengeance and crushes everybody. Did not manage to crush Anish Giri yesterday, even though he came very, very close. But yeah, what can you even say about Carlsen at this point? It's just impressive how he's so much stronger than everybody else and makes guys like Wesley So, top 10 super solid players, really just crushes them in 25 moves. I was pretty impressed. And I'll play OGSG. The original gangster shooting guard. I believe that's what OGSG stands for. 2400 02. You know what? Let's go e4 and see what the OG has in store. If you go c5, I promise I'll play some goofy sideline. No open Sicilian today, OGSG. And if you go e6, I'll be very upset, because I don't like playing the French. There we go. He's watching the show. He plays e6. I'll play knight d2, because I don't want him to pin me. And he does this stuff where I'm pretty clueless. I have to admit, I'm reasonably uneducated about this line and what it entails. I was taught that you should go knight e2 to put the other knight on f3 when push comes to shove. But it looks like the OG is very booked up here. Blitzing out moves like it was nothing. I don't know, bishop g5, bishop f4. What do people do here? This looks logical. I'm slightly worried that he's gonna keep blitzing, like takes knight e4 and all hell breaks loose. Knight h5, how bad can it be? Probably rook f3 is an idea, which I should take into account during my up-and-coming calculations. I'll go here. That allows the knight to come to f4, which is not ideal, but he does have this kind of silly bishop. Therefore, if I manage to consolidate like rook e1, bishop f1, whatnot, I don't think my position can be bad. Or I think it can be good even, which is the optimistic way of putting it. But normally the double negation is closer to my heart. Yeah, this makes sense, I guess. Yeah, I'll go here. I was thinking that if he goes, let's say, rook a8, I can't follow up with queen d2 because of knight h3 check, gh, rook f3, which is annoying. But then again, first of all, knight h3, I could go king h1, and secondly, after rook a8, I'm considering to play knight to e5, which looks decent. There we go. Will I follow through? Yeah, why not? How bad can it really be? I don't think it can be bad. The question is if I'm better if he, let's say, takes, goes knight g6 and then e5, or if he has enough activity there to, I guess, equalize. We'll find out. Rook f6, alright, don't see the point of that move, to be perfectly frank. Now looks like a good time to play queen d2. Now he can no longer take on e5 because of de. And this doubling of rooks looks like chasing waterfalls to me. I have no idea what that expression means, but it sounded right. And if it sounds right, don't fight it. I don't see any tricks. Knight h3 takes, knight g2 takes. I don't think any of these adventures are really in his favor. So I'll just make some half-strengthening moves and let him stew in his own bad bishopry. Not quite clear to me how I want to improve my position. g5, whoa! Can I go knight h5? No, it takes. Queen g5, knight g7 is still holding things together. I guess here maybe? And then knight takes e5. Alright, no immediate punishment available, it looks like. Which is a pity. But life goes on. f3 is a bit weird, but what can you do? I also have to speed up a little bit. I've played badly over the last couple of moves. Again, I still think I'm okay, but there were certainly more active ways to play this than f3 and king h1. But we're both running low on time, and therefore I felt like going into speeded up mode was the way to go. Still better because of his dumb bishop, but I have to take some care. At some point there should be some tactic that makes his position dwindle. Here we go. Let's start taking some things. Can I take this? I'm bad at counting. It looks like I can. And it looks like he's also hit the speed up button, but it cost him too much material. So yeah, typical French game for these structures. I think it was better most of the way, but I haven't studied those in great detail. So what do I know really? I know some things. Like, I know that Tom Cruise starred in the movie Born on the 4th of July, but he was actually born on the 3rd of July. So yeah. That is mind-blowing, is it not? Let's play one more strong opponent, Mr. What's his name? Dennis the King. Not Dennis the Menace, Dennis the King. Interesting. Goes d4. Don't you hate it when they go d4? Such a good move. And the king likes the Catalan. I'm gonna grab this pawn. My main repertoire is bishop e7, and I've played this pawn plenty in Banter Blitz's past. But it's a pawn. Like, it's so hard to resist taking that little fella off the board. And I'm planning to go rook b8, b5. I don't think a4 is critical. I've never really looked at it, and I have a feeling I get it in every other Banter Blitz. It's very popular as a4 move in the Banter Blitz scene. But I never fully understood, which is the past tense of understand, understudy the purpose. I'll still go b5. Catalan is a tough opening for me to wrap my head around. Like, I know theoretically it's fine, but to understand all these subtleties in all these weird positions, I struggle with. So I tend to err on the side of grabbing as many pawns as I can, which in this case is 1. Then hang on to them for dear life and make them prove the compensation. Not sure about bishop b7, but I'm never sure about anything really. Knight c3. Time to get some pieces out, I would guess. Alright, some pieces are out. Now it's time to move some pieces around, I would guess. Maybe put this knight here. Looks like a pretty welcoming square for a horsey, does it not? c4. Looking at this bishop, stopping bishop a3, looks like the horsey has found a home here. And if it gets challenged with knight d2, I can exchange some dudes. Should probably think a bit. Or should I? Yeah, I'll go for this. Slightly bothering me is that my a6 pawn is hanging around. But I'll try to introduce bigger issues into the position, like Brian the b pawn running. Knight a4, b3 I'd be very happy with, so I think he has to go knight e2. When I still have not made up my mind, my main attempt would probably be to just go for punishment with b3. Queen a6, queen d5 check. Let's say f3, rook a8, queen b6. No win? Feels like that should be a win, but I can't see it, which is a pity. Maybe I'll jump here first. Couldn't see the win in the other line, so I play a move which I have calculated for 0.3 seconds instead, which is normally not a good thing to do. Normally, you want to weigh your alternatives a little bit before you just randomly blitz them out. But who has the time? We're all busy people. But yeah, I'm messing around. Such a nice position. Then I started the good old mess around. Probably still have a decent position, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do after f3. That's why I'm bothered. What to do? Life goes on. There's always cheapos. New position, new cheapo. That's what they taught me in high school. But yeah, I've given back my extra pawn, which hurts my feelings greatly. I still have this b3 pawn. I'll try not to blunder that one away as well. But the position has become a lot more complicated than I would have liked it to be. Do I take on a4 on a1, or do I go knight a4 straight away? No, let's take. Now rook a8, dc. Not so clear. Okay. Must calculate one line of chess properly. Rook a8, dc, rook a1. Okay, I can't calculate any further than that. Not sure about rook a8. I think I should just have gone knight a4. Drifting, ladies and gentlemen. I might still be in good shape, but I'm seeing all kinds of ghosts. Not like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but like mean, haunted ghosts. There's no good Ghostbusters when you need them either. Not making any sense at all. Bishop c3. I could go here, and I will. This looks like progress, doesn't it? And we all need progress. Now how do I wrap this up? Bishop b4 or bishop a3? This looks good. Yeah, I think his forces are overloaded because e2 is also hanging many lines, so yeah, he has to take here. But this, there's a choice. I'll go with the crueler move, queen takes e2. Nothing wrong with rook d2, but this wins on the spot, so might as well. And Dennis the King resigned. Yeah, that's one of these typical Catalans where I have a feeling a lot of Catalan players, they're not that comfortable being this pawn down. They haven't really studied this line. Castles and e3 is better than a4 in my book, so that went well. Whom should I play? Do I still have time? Anna, I think I gotta wrap it up. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. Apologies for the very short show today. Oh, that's my final segment. I'm sorry anyway. I'm sorry for the short show. Niklas Grandmaster Huschenbeet, in that order, we call him Niklas Grandmaster Huschenbeet, is gonna do his premium coaching show at 5, so stay tuned for that. I'm sorry for the sweater. No, I'm not. It's a great sweater. I'm sorry to myself for losing a game. I'm sorry for all of you who expected a Bilbao commentary today. There is none because there's a rest day. But Niklas Grandmaster Huschenbeet and I will be doing commentary on Bilbao the next 5 days, last 5 rounds. There's this kid Magnus Carlsen playing. He's been doing quite okay so far. I believe tomorrow is the rematch versus a certain Hikaru Nakamura. So you might want to check in that. What else am I sorry about? I'm sorry for not being with you over the weekend, but I hope you had a lot of fun with Niklas and Fiona. I am sorry for all the "there's something about Mary" talk to those of you who were insulted by the very graphic opening scene where some of his private parts get stuck in the pants, and like, I'm very sorry if that bit offended you a little bit. I'm sorry to Donnie Wahlberg for offending him at the start of the show, because really, without Donnie Wahlberg, there would be no more Mark Wahlberg. Look it up. Mark Wahlberg was up to no good in the mean streets of Boston. Then Donnie Wahlberg of New Kids on the Block fame sponsored him his own music project, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And the rest, as they say, is history. Good Vibrations, Wild Side, the Calvin Klein Job, Boogie Nights. And do I know too much about Mark Wahlberg? Is that a little creepy? I think it is. Thank you for watching the show. Enjoy the other shows coming up during the rest of the day. That's it. I'm out of here like Mother Nature. See you guys soon. Au revoir.